Hey friends, here we go again. I'm still plowing through all these old 8 millimeter films that I inherited from my grandfather. And today I'm just going to go through the oldest of them. So this one is, I'm confident, from 1958. So that's must have been about when my grandfather got his camera. Anyway, so I'm going to go through this one. Some of it's going to be kind of boring. I'm sorry. Uh, a lot of it is just going to be little baby me toddling around. And it goes on and on. And okay, grandparents do that sort of thing. It doesn't make for dramatic movie making. So we'll see a lot of me running around half naked. But if I had to say, is there a theme to this? If I imposed a theme on it, I'd have to say that the theme is that love endures. So we're going to see a couple of things. This is my great grandparents. That's Peter Jensen Wested and Christina Stephenson. Christina was a Swedish immigrant who married my great grandfather, who was from a family that had been living in the United States for decades up there in northern Minnesota. So they got together. They got married in 1906. So that's what this photograph is from, is 1906. That one lasted a while. So what I'm going to show you is just a little short clip of my great grandparents in their garden. So again, this is 1958. So this is my great grandparents' house down on Railroad Avenue in Kent, Washington. They had a huge flower garden in their backyard. I know it was huge because when I got older, they would drag me over there to help weed it. So lots and lots of very pretty flowers. This is what they did. This is their hobby, was growing flowers. My great grandmother is, well, there she is. So this is, again, is a newspaper photograph, so it's not very well done, but those are my great grandparents in 1966 when they were celebrating their 60th wedding anniversary. And all I can say is, yeah, they had a marriage that lasted. Everything I saw of them indicated that they were in love. They still cared for each other. Uh, I know they're old, so you probably think, no, you can't be that old and still show affection, but they did. Uh, Great grandpa was stolid and kind of quiet. Great grandma would work in the kitchen. She did a lot of cooking. She was notorious for fixing fish head soup. We would bring over the head and guts from any fish we caught, and rhubarb pie. I am not a fan of rhubarb pie, so I actually preferred the fish head soup. Scandinavians, what can you do? It wasn't just my great grandparents. This is my grandmother's garden. She had a fabulous flower garden in her yard, and she's not in this. But anyway, we'll see her in a little bit. This garden was memorable to me because when I got older, much older, and started dating, I would go over to my grandmother's house to talk to my grandma, and she would go out in the yard and insist on cutting flowers for me to bring to my date. So yes, my current wife remembers this. My current wife, my only wife. Anyway, my wife remembers this because I would bring flowers from Grandma's yard to her all the time. Okay, time for the interminable baby shots. That's my mother, and that is my little brother, Jimmy. This is how I know it's 1958. That's the year he was born. And so he's just a few months old there. So we're looking at summer of 58, I guess, or late fall. And there I am. That's my grandmother as well. And yeah, I was crazy about my little brother. So, yes, very affectionate there. There I am toddling about a bit more than a year old here. And doesn't Jimmy look adorable? Helpless little baby at that point. And there we are with my grandfather and my mother and my grandmother there. Just hanging around in the driveway of my grandparents' house. We get to see a classic car or two this time too. I have no idea what kind of car that is. I don't know cars. But apparently I'm trying to break in and escape or something. Yeah. Okay, now this one is Mom, my brother Jim, my father, and me. Again, in my grandparents' yard. They are so young. So was I, but yeah, my parents really young. And my dad loved going fishing. And my grandfather did too, so there we are. I don't know what we're doing to those poor helpless trout that are sitting on the line. But yes, I learned to love fish at an early age. Like to eat them too. Now, I don't know who the blonde is here. Sorry. Somebody. Anyway, just playing. Again, this is my grandparents' lawn, which in later years I would mow so many times. Familiar terrain. There's my great grandfather. You don't see him smiling in the photos very often, but there he is. And my great grandmother. I don't know who those girls are. Somebody's going to have to tell me, but that's my grandmother. And that I believe is Jim she was holding. So we're a little later. New parents and grandparents can just spend endless hours staring at little kid photos. Okay, now this one's me. I'm in the wading pool. A lot of the recordings that I've got from way back when are of us kids in wading pools, so it was a common thing to do. And look at that body. I am proud to say that I still have exactly the same physique now in my 60s. Kind of that soft potato shape. Yeah, we were just playing in a sandbox. My grandparents had a sandbox when we were little. It got ripped out later on. Back in the pool, trying to figure out the intricacies of using a hose. Oh, now we get into my cowboy phase. Got the horse, I got the hat. Turns out I also have the gun. That's not progressive, giving children toy guns. Anyway, yes, I had a little cap gun and a cowboy hat that wouldn't stay on my head. There I am wandering around. You'll shoot your eye out, kid. I definitely don't know anything about gun safety at this age. This is why you don't give 1 to 2 year olds guns. And there's my grandmother tending to her flowers. And there's the family all ganged up. Those are my great-grandparents, and that's me and little Jim there, and my grandfather and my mother. Yeah, hi, Jim. He's still young yet. I think he's under a year here, so he hasn't quite figured out the intricacies of getting filmed. Neither have I, but okay. Again with these static poses. We didn't know anything about making movies. It shows. Still, it's nice to see them there. And there's me and little Jim. We're sitting on some furniture that belonged to my mother when she was a little kid. Collecting flowers. Oh yeah, we got these hats. I don't know what the deal with the hats are. I think they say Wonder Bread or something on them. So it's some kind of promotion. Oh no, Sunbeam? I don't know. Some cheap promotional gimmick from the local grocery store, I'm sure. And we're just chilling in the yard. Oh, quick change. Have advanced. It's a little later. This is Christmas. And there, lying in the corner, is my baby sister Karen. That's how I know this has got to be 1958. She was born in November of 58. So, little baby Karen and a Christmas tree and us two boys trying to figure this thing out. My great-grandparents show up. I know this was Christmas Eve of 1958 because we had a tradition at my Grandma Wested's place that we would open presents on the evening of Christmas Eve. Grandma would also fix a big dinner with lefse and lutefisk and all that good stuff. But yeah, there's the great-grandparents getting all huggy with each other. Always good to see. And there's my grandfather, a doting son to his parents. Santa showed up. Bunch of other people I don't know. I guess it was a big party that night, that year. There I'm getting hugged by Santa Claus with a creepy mask. And now we hand out all the presents. Everybody's ripping open presents. We're going to make a mess of the house in a moment. Again, I don't know who those people are. That is my grandaunt Lila and my great-grandparents. So I know some of them. Throwing those presents around. That's Mom again with her two boys right there. Karen must be off napping somewhere. And that's my father. Look at there. He's all duded up in a dress suit and everything. Dress shirt. And I think he's wearing a tie. I have rarely seen my father in a tie. So I think one of those girls might be my grandaunt's daughter, Elaine. Okay, this is the next morning. Presents are all opened. It's all getting cleaned up, and we're looking at the stockings and just having a grand time. And I tell you, I really got along with my little brother. I wanted him to come sit with me and get a kiss and kiss me back. Aren't we sweet? Then Jim goes toddling off, and pretty soon I think my mother's going to come. Yeah, there's Mom with Karen, so we get a little family picture there. She's sitting on me. Mom, I got to get out of there. Okay. All right, this is completely different. This is from 2021. And what you're looking at here, that's my brother Jim in the purple shirt. So we're looking at what? 21 to 1958. That's 42. 63 years later. And Jim is giving my daughter Skaya and my granddaughter Ileana lessons in how to drive a tractor. And she's thrilled. This is the very last movie I have of my brother. He died of cancer a year or so later. I just had to include it for that juxtaposition of that 1958 scene with me and my brother hugging together, and then these years later. Yeah, I'm going to get all sad now. He was a good brother. Wish I'd been half as good to him. Okay, getting down because next it's going to be Mary's turn to get driving lessons.
You were pretty good at that. Emma's going to do it.
Everything gets sentimental when you're this old. Anyway, I miss you, Jim.